Hello, everybody. Welcome to Comic Core Unlimited. Wednesday is here. I'll tell you, for me, it could not have come soon enough. Love me some new comic book day, some chance to talk with my friends about comic books, and what better place to do that than to come here on the Comic Core channel. We're joined tonight by a special guest. I'm going to start us off with saying hello to the Comic Core man himself, Chad. Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Hey, this is exciting. First time. I'm pumped. Thanks.
No, you've been on before. This is officially the first panel. You're the whole show this time, though.
Yeah. I'm by myself, too. So.
And then we got Mr. JD hooking us up tonight, getting the show started. How you doing, man?
Good. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a good, safe 4th of July, and I hope you enjoyed Golden Guys last night. If you got a chance to watch it, we had a real good time on that show.
I got to catch the rewind on that one. I was out late last night. I popped in for just a brief minute, and then I was like, I can't fit this in.
Good for you. No school, John. No school nights for John. Look at this.
Oh, man. No, that was my last week. I'm still teaching right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
One last week of summer camp, and then I'm good. And then we got Mr. Jason Comics Misexplained. What is the record you got for us tonight?
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, today we got Mutilation Rights. They're a black metal band.
Killer.
Yeah, I think
Really? I
they're
thought they'd
from
be
Chicago.
smooth jazz.
Yeah, I think they're from Chicago.
Sounded more smooth jazz.
Yeah, a black metal band from Chicago, I believe. But yeah, the cover is famous Gustave Doré wood panel sketch, I believe, that a lot of bands have used in the past. That's probably the best place, I think, for that cover was for a black metal album.
Dude, it's stunning.
So
that is a killer cover. All right, so let me jump into the chat, say hello to some awesome people, because we had people in here waiting for us before we even started off. Mr. Caleb, the Comic Smurf Murphy, was in the cheese factory before we even got in here. You got Comic Man Andy, RJ Taylor, Old Wolf, who I can't say enough nice things about. He is in the chat everywhere I go, always saying nice things. Mastodon, of course, is in here. Chris Barrett is in here representing. The immortal Biggie Shack. Guy's dropping episodes faster than fruit flies die. He's just everywhere. Perry Comics also making a lot of great content. He dropped 3 videos this week looking at indies that are coming out soon, Marvel books, DC books. I'm just a little upset that the Marvel list is like a 2-minute video. It's shorter than a trailer. And then the DC video is probably like 20 minutes long. You got to even out that a little bit. And then we got Airboy the Barbarian, still one of the best names for a YouTube channel. Katrina's out there. Bake the Snake is out there. Home of the New York Warriors. Thanks for coming by. Comics for Thomas. Let's see. And then, of course, there's Jason, Misexplained in the chat. Always saying hello.
I'm here.
For those that don't know the Unlimited show, we like to start with what we've been reading, what we've been enjoying, things maybe we picked up today or things that we finally got to finish reading last week. Chad, is there anything you've been reading lately that you've been enjoying?
Detective comic book this week. Detective was good this week. I'm a huge Batman fan, so I enjoyed that this week. I loved Second Coming. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. It is an amazing book if you get a chance to read it.
I'm so excited to read that.
I mean, it's very twisted. Art in it is very good, and when it does a time jump, it's really, really cool. And then my least favorite was I can't wait till Tom King's done.
Same.
Like,
I'm saving up. There's 11 more issues, right? 11 more, I think he has.
It's not coming soon enough. I mean, the Batman story could be so good, but I just don't. I don't get it. I really don't get.
There's like there's like no explanation for things that are happening. You know, it would be cool if I like that his dad is there, but there's no reason of how he's still alive or why he's there. You know, now it's like we got to resurrect your mom, but then he's saying it's his wife, but is it the Joker one from that timeline too? They don't really say anything.
Well, no, they kind of alluded to it right there in the one panel right after the fight. He said, he was like right before the fight. He goes, you would love your mom, and he goes, how'd she die? And he said, I.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then he couldn't talk about it.
So what is the Joker version?
Yeah, so it's from the Flash. I mean, obviously it's from Flash, but you know, that story was. But I guess my biggest pick of the week. I'm a huge Connor Kent fan. I love Kingdom Come. Anytime you can get a Young Justice Kingdom Come crossover, doesn't get any better. So Young Justice. Unfortunately, I didn't get to read Naomi. I wanted to read that. But yeah, Young Justice has been okay. Bendis has been doing a pretty good job on it. Now that they're exploring different realities, they're almost like an Exiles, the original Exiles. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
When they would jump to different realities, and this when they jumped to 3 separate realities, so it was very, very Exile-like. Nobody died on the team, so that's a good thing. But anytime you get to see the Kingdom Come version of Superman and Wonder Woman, and then the Nightwings, so the sons and daughters of the Bat attack Young Justice at the end of the book, and it's pretty cool. I liked it. So those are my books.
Nice. What about you? What do you got there, JD? Anything that you really enjoyed this week?
Sure. This week I didn't read it yet, but I'm really looking forward to Criminal. I keep my 4 new books a week max is still the limit I put on myself. So the one that I dropped out was Fallen World number 3. I'm gonna probably pick that up next week because it's a lighter week for me next week. I also picked up Thor, which is kind of like a wrap up Thor part of War of the Realms. Solid, it looks like it's just getting ready to start the next phase of what's going on. Much more emotional about who he is and how he got there. It's pretty good. Venom, Donnie Cates is back. This is definitely a lead-in of all lead-ins to Absolute Carnage or whatever they're going to call it. Actually, are they going to call it Absolute Carnage?
I think that's the name, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's stupid. All right. Okay, yeah. Anyway, but again, good job inside. It's Venom. It's Cates is back. Good job there. This little dude here, Omega, is the tie-up of now the God Without Fear. One more time gets to see what has helped in a few areas, and this is where you find out that Jane becomes Valkyrie. And this is how she becomes Valkyrie. So this is that book. That's the big reason for this book. Other than that, there's also 2 other great storylines in here that we could wrap up to War of the Realms. Overall, they'd all be pretty solid books. They all stood out in amongst their own way. My pick of the week is a free book I saw there that I thought was really good. It was at the counters, like, those free stuff that you get on the way in or whatever. This was there. It was this Young Guns sketchbook and the next generation of elite artists. And this is something where I don't pass up because when I was a kid, I always grabbed these things, and that made me like a lot of the, introduce you to Mark Bagley or introduce, someone like that. So this, the artists here are pretty good. It's Mark Cicchetto, well known for the Daredevil run. Russell Dowderman did, Captain Marvel and all the Thors, the interior works for the Thors. Javier Garn, who does Miles Morales. Aaron Cooter, who's doing Fantastic Four right now. Pepe Larraz, I think, is doing House of X and everything else. He's a big one. And Mike Del Mundo, who did a bunch of stuff on the Thor run, as well as the Asgards. And he's just Mike Del Mundo, if you want to see, he did the Thor with some of his stuff. But inside, it's free. You pick it up. You get a little story about each one, a background book. You get their sketches when they were kids, what they practice on, what they want to do, what they have coming up. Talk about their favorite works. For example, Mike Cicchetto says one of his favorite things he ever did was the Old Man Hawkeye 1 cover. Talks about what an honor it was and what a great story and everything else it is. So it's kind of like their fanzine,
Yeah, that's cool.
So pick it up.
And so then, Jason, what have you been reading, man?
I read a lot, man. I've been reading all of those Age of X-Men tie-ins. I finally finished all of them to finally end with Age of X-Men. I think it's called Omega. So that'll be interesting to see how it's all wrapped up together and have everyone together for Jonathan Hickman to start going forward. The best one, I think, was the Prisoner X. That was pretty cool. And and been reading all the Black Hammer because today Black Hammer and Justice League crossover came out, and that was really good. But it kind of takes place before a couple issues back of what's currently happening in Black Hammer Age of Doom. So don't want to spoil what happens to Age of Doom. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's really cool to see the dynamics and parallels of the characters, because Jeff Lemire's characters are like amalgamations or knockoffs of those, or homages, I should really say, of those Marvel and DC characters. So it's really cool to see them, and I'm excited to see them meet each other.
Nice.
And I think like the main antagonist might be a different version of maybe Mixopiddalik. So that's kind of cool. I agree with Chad. Batman has been awful. I can't wait for that to be over.
I mean, it's a comic I've stopped reading 2 different times.
How can you do that to your number one character? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, like I have to read everything Batman, no matter what, because I love the character so much. And same thing with Superman. Like I have to know what's happening with him, even if the story's bad. So no matter what, I'm gonna read it, which sucks. It's like kind of torturous.
But Jason? What gives me my saving grace on Batman is that the art is good.
Yeah, the art is so good.
Absolutely.
I can't say the same for Bendis's Batman Universe #1. It's pretty much a compilation of all the Walmart stuff he wrote. It's similar to the one that came out like last week was Tom King's Superman. That was a #1 for that, and it's the same thing with his Walmart stuff put together. And of course, Tom King's version of Superman, it involved a laser going into his mind, and he's like, "You're gonna go insane. You can't handle it." Of course, it has to do with like going insane. He can't help himself. He's a one-trick pony.
He's so shitty.
And Batman Universe with Bendis, I didn't really dig the story at all, and the art was subpar as well. But I'm still gonna read it. It's only 6 issues.
Bendis is one of those writers that I bring up once in a while that he gets a pass a lot of times because it's really good stuff.
And what he's done in the past has been brilliant. It's been great.
But a lot of his stuff as well that you'd buy just for it being Bendis, you were like, this new Avengers is going to be great. And then you're like, all right. And then, oh, great. Oh, all right, let's go. They're doing Infinity now, and he's not even on it. And then he does like a great run all of a sudden that while Infinity's going on, he has free reign to do something, and he does great at it. And you're like, that's a great run, one of Bendis' best works. And then it's exactly how he is. And he gets and I know I kind of wished him well. I wanted him to do well at Superman. I really did.
Yeah, same.
And
we all had high hopes.
Kind of upsetting because I still think that's the one thing that comics is lacking today has been. And I personally think that I like Dan Jurgensen's. I like The Last Son of Krypton. And I haven't liked many Superman runs since.
But I mean, Peter
Tomasi and Jurgens were awesome.
Peter Tomasi, I mean, you're doing the best Superman run in years. In years.
Yeah.
And you know what? Decades. Let's put Honey Badger on it and see what happens.
See, my beef with that one Bendis wrote for Batman Universe, of course, Batman runs into Jonah Hex's daughter, Jenny Hex. Is like, of course, you motherfucker. He always writes characters, brand new characters, and puts them in the foreground to get that licensing money and get them popular and shoo them in for no reason. It's so annoying and blatant. It's so offensive.
Any writers out there that watch this, if you ever do, Kate's or whoever you are, flat out tell you the truth. We know your style. We know your brand. You don't have to put it in every single thing.
Yeah, no doubt. Exactly.
I was going through, I think it was previews.
Too many keywords in a rush. So
the new previews came out, last week or 2 weeks ago? So I was going through it, and I saw Superman. And on the cover of Superman, in the forefront is Naomi.
Yep.
And Batman and Superman on each side of her. And I'm like,
and the tagline says, feature, superstar upcoming Naomi. And then it says, and featuring Batman. A guest starring Batman. I was like, really? Like, you're going to give Batman the small headline and put him in the background? Wow. You're going to have Naomi right in the front. Pure Batman.
But the Naomi thing is the Naomi one is the one that gets me. And there's a reason for it. Is I was talking to these guys from Diamond, and they knew about this book being hot because it's a hot book, right? Everybody's like, it's a hot book, hot book. Well, what they did is they did a low print run on it. Super low print run. Hyped it up. on the second book, they even did a lower print run.
Mhm.
So if you got 1 and 2, there's not that many out there, and they're not doing reprints because they're going to be pushing it to the trade or to the app. So that's why these books are going up in value. I mean, it's self-promotion. My God, he does such a good job at it.
I kind of felt the same way with Venom currently with the new one when Donny Cates is back. It kind of rehashed or recapped what happened in Colin Bunn's last 2 issues for War of the Realms, and had a big 2-page spread, very nice, pretty good art and stuff. But like there was no like little caption that said, "Oh, check out these issues from Colin Bunn." These 2. Those have been keeping up, we know, but like you're not going to help Bunn out and say he read Bunn's stuff for these 2 issues. He only plugs his own stuff. Cates only plugs his own things. And never anyone else. And you figure like Bunn's mom just died. He could probably use some money right now. I'm sure he has a lot of like, bills and stuff to pay, but I'm sure he has a lot of money coming too from other stories. But like, come on, man. It just takes one little caption to throw in. Like, you're not going to help your brother out. Like,
it's one of those things about I've noticed that Cates has done in all the writings is he ties in his characters with his characters, which is fine. And that's what we know what he's going to do, and he's going to be there. But at the same point in time, you're right. They just go over the Venom storyline that's leading into his let's call it a new album for him to coming out.
Right.
That's the way it's become for artists. It's kind of like musicians putting out a new album. Okay, taking a break, and then here comes my next 12-issue set.
2 years later, they're like, "Here's a new album," and they're like, "This is our best work yet. It's our best one."
I'm back. That's the way I'm treating it now. That's the way they're treating it. That's the way I'm going to treat them.
My other beef with the current Venom issue was in there. Eddie Brock, got attacked in a money stashing house by like these other guys that are uncontrolled. They have the spiral eyes. You can tell they're under control of something else.
No.
And you figure it would be like Null or something like that. But instead of the Clusion, he goes in his own head. He says, "What is happening here? Were those men infected with a Carnage symbiote?" I just saw spiral eyes. You figured it was Null and not like Carnage. And then it wasn't until like the next page or 2 later on you come across a bad guy, and then he says it's Cletus. So like you figured after that he would make the assumption and know it was Carnage, but not like 2 pages
it's kind of like this could have been 2 issues to figure out what the hell's going on, and they said let's get it ready because next Venom is not coming till August anyway.
And this fight scene with the bad guy, it has an inner monologue, and it's just a fight scene. What you're seeing, it's a very nice art, cool looking fight scene, but it's like great art, but it's like his inner monologue is like the bad guy. He's like, the bad guy. He told me everything. This happened, and this happened, and this happened. But I'd rather see like the bad guy explain evil things instead of just a random fight scene and recap of all in dialogue.
I think he's getting paid by the letter.
Oh yeah, dude. Go back to Bendis. Event Leviathan. It's pretty much just Batman and Red Hood on a rooftop, kind of catching up with each other and explaining what happened to all the other agencies and things like that. But as you recall, like Red Hood and Batman are not on talking terms. Like they are like they want to strangle each other. They've hated each other because Red Hood betrayed Batman's trust by shooting the Penguin directly in the face. And so there's a panel on here. And Red Hood's like, "Can we put away the stuff between us so we can work this case?" Batman's like, "Of course. What have you heard?" It's like, really, dude? You're just going to drop all your beef like that in one panel? Like, that's not a thing, man. I don't know. And there's like some other stuff I can go on. But, man, I've been having some real issues with some of these popular writers recently. And hopefully they wise up or change their course because it's not a good look, man. But to continue with like what else I've been reading, Detective Comics is awesome. Flash was fine. I think he's doing a fine job. I'm more looking forward to Williamson's Batman Superman run. They have a little preview of it at the end of some issues, and it's looked pretty good.
On that Batman Superman run, it's Williamson who's doing it. What tie-ins do you think are going to be?
Well, I think the current Batman Who Laughs. Yeah, the
Batman Who Laughs
ties into the Batman Superman follows the Batman Who Laughs.
It's an ongoing. It's not going to be a time. It's not an event.
No, it's not like really an event. Yeah, it's more like
the next chapter. It's all over again.
I mean, they're just bringing back Superman, Batman. I mean, that's.
Okay. I just wanted to figure out what was going on with it.
Because Superman and Batman is pretty much going to find, or they're trying to figure out who the Batman Who Laughs like poisons and is going to turn into a dark version of themselves. They want to figure out who it is because it could have happened before or could have not happened yet. So they're like, okay, everyone is involved. Like it could be anyone from the Titans, Teen Titans, Justice League. We got to figure out who is poisoned. And then in the cave, they're searching for the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh my God.
Like, crows. And it was like Billy Batson turned into like one of those crow things. You're like, oh snap! It was a killer preview, dude. I'm so excited for that.
When he goes, when he says my name's Billy Batson, I went, oh shit!
Yeah, same.
You're just waiting for the lightning bolt to come down, and like,
oh,
what kind of version of
Shazam, a dark evil version, dude?
it was
so excited!
Oh my goodness,
dude! Justice League Odyssey has been really awesome. Like, it's so underrated.
It has
art
from the get go.
Yeah, dude, the art in it is incredible. The colors and stuff, it's so good, man. And this one, like in Justice League Odyssey, the current one, like it's almost Darkseid convincing Cyborg to like think. He's like, okay, I'm doing all this with the relics. He's like, you can do this too. Process it. You're the only person that can. I know you can do it. And he's like, all right, well, I'll try. I can't do it all. I'll try. Does it. And then he starts having like almost an existential crisis. You know, he's like, how could I do this? It's not possible. He's like, you think? He's like, yeah, well, he's like, apparently your affliction has always been, you thought you were human and you're turning into a robot, but really you're already a robot, and it was your consciousness telling you that you're going to be stuck as like in like a robot trying to pretend you're a human. And so that kind of blew his mind and like destroyed him, like pretty much. But like it's going to be a whole new chapter for Cyborg. He has like kind of like a buffer build, and I think he's going to be more confident in himself in a maybe a possibly darker way. But that's super interesting take on that character. That hasn't been interesting ever. So, Marvel stuff, dude. Avengers was fun. It was just them chilling in a hot tub, and kind of going over stuff. And that was a little like nice breather after all the chaos is happening from War of the Realms. Didn't get to read Savage Sword of Conan. Going to though for sure. Thor 15 was awesome. That was really cool. It was a really good recap too of like all the things that are going to happen, as well as the War of the Realms Omega. It's kind of like a pitch for like upcoming 3 or 4 series. The Loki one and
Loki,
King Thor and Jane
Valkyrie,
Foster, Valkyrie.
Thor,
yeah, totally.
And I guess Daredevil, because I don't know if it's going to lead into the Zdarsky thing.
Man, dude, I really hope it does. Like, I would love to see Chip Zdarsky use those new like sticks from the Wood of Knowledge or whatever, the Tree of Knowledge. That'd be so cool to see use like those like magical sticks and what they do. But I don't know if Chip Zdarsky will. It seems like too magical for him to do on the street level.
Yeah, Chip's definitely a more noir style writer.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that, and I like him. It's one of those things. Don't mess with your brand too much.
Right.
Although we were just complaining about our writers who stay on brand too much.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading Wolverine vs. Blade, and also the what is that? The Wolverine and Captain America Weapon Plus.
That Wolverine, that Wolverine Cap one is Ethan Sachs, right?
I think so. Yeah, it is.
I think that's the Ethan.
I forgot about that. You're right.
It's an Ethan Sachs one shot.
That's
and
awesome.
there's also
I didn't know
one shot Blade versus Wolverine.
Yeah,
is that a one shot also? Okay, yeah.
I think it's a
special, so it probably is a one shot. Nice. But yeah, my pick of the week though is Criminal.
I can't wait to read it now.
Yeah, we talked about it before, like off air, but it's mostly from Teague's point of view of what happened from the past issue or two ago, and it gives his backstory of how he got to where he is currently, and now it's going to lead up to how his son kind of ruined, I think, him and his girl's like relationship, or is going to ruin. But yeah, super cool.
And I don't know if Brubaker would ever do it. I'd love to have one of those series that Disney Plus is putting out written by him.
Oh, dude, he just finished writing or co-writing a series that's on Amazon Prime right now that I'm going to check out probably tonight. It's called it's called Too Young to Die Old or something like that.
I saw an ad for it.
Yeah. So he's a co-writer in that. In the back of the Criminal, it gives like his little
I saw that. I wanted to check that out.
Yeah, dude, I'm super stoked for that. I think he said his biggest beefs with like doing or co-writing like TV productions and stuff, he's done it before, is that it's just like him helping the producer or directors like help them achieve their vision, even though he has other things he'd rather do with it. So he says my biggest beef with that is like he'd rather do something just solely created and just like, he wants to do it himself. I think that would be the best.
I think Marvel should let him Try.
I want an Ed Brubaker Slam
Series.
Bradley series. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, get a young director that's willing to take orders from a writer and say, my vision is this. No, it's not, kid.
Right, exactly. But yeah, dude, that's wraps up everything I've been reading. Then I want to read Second Coming, as Chad brought out. I'm really stoked for that.
The Second Coming is the second. It's basically Superman training Jesus Christ.
Right.
Like God sees how everybody is going nuts over Superman, and he was like, "Hey, boy, come here." He literally, "Hey, boy, come here." He's like, "Check out this dude," and next thing you know, they're in Superman's bedroom, and he's like, "Hey, you got to train this kid." Because last time it was a mess.
Last time it was a mess. It didn't go so well.
It didn't go real well. And he was like, "What?" And then he goes, "Well, I'm out." And he just leaves.
Oh,
And then
geez.
Jesus Christ is just standing there like, what's up?
Awesome.
John, what have you been? Oh, John, do you want to shout out?
I want to shout out the chat a little
I
bit.
was
Yeah,
gonna
we
say,
got
yeah.
Real Comic Book Talk was in there, and Caleb was throwing out some great comments about bringing Stegman back for Venom, and they were saying that he's going to be on Absolute Carnage. Stegman is going to be doing the art for Absolute Carnage.
Awesome.
Jason Smith and GPAP are also in the chat. I saw Bueller was jumping through the chat. Much appreciated. Jack Yo was in there. Did I miss somebody? Wuhong is in there.
Bueller's in there, Mastodon.
Yeah, I said Bueller came by.
Brandon.
He's ready for my Lost show after this, too. I'm glad to see that there's some folks hanging out for that. Kachung is in the chat. Did I miss anybody? I think I got just about everybody. I didn't pick up that many books this week. Chad 90 Miles from Comics. I try not to give him too many shout outs. It goes to his head. So I will say I was pretty disappointed by most of what I read this week. I didn't really feel like anything was as good. Last week, I loved every book that I picked up. Everything was really, really good. This week was a bit of a step down. Everybody kind of mentioned the Venom book, which definitely feels like hey, we just finished one story, one big event, and we're going to start another big event. This is just kind of in between those events.
Yeah, and Rhino's on the cover for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, I think this cover is hysterical.
I got the alternative cover.
And the cover just made me laugh, but like it has no point in the story.
I went with the Ron Lim cover, to be honest with you. I just thought it was a good job.
Yeah, it's cool.
I read the new issue of The Flash, but it feels more like a setup issue for the finale, and not necessarily like a huge issue in its own right.
I'm pretty excited for them to finish up that year one stuff and see where it goes after that. I'm not too excited about year one anymore.
I got the new. I'm still picking up all my Art Germ Catwoman covers and reading the Joelle Jones story, and she does some pages in this one, which were the best part of this book. There's like 4 pages at the end. The problem is this felt very much like Deceased One, where there's like 5 artists doing different pages and different things in here.
Oh boy!
So I think they're really prepping for some of that, like Year of the Villain stuff. And
John, how did that one tie in with Year of the Villain?
I had trouble because the main storyline in here has to do with this villainess that has been introduced in issue 1 of this run. Mm-hmm. And at the end, there's a little hinting at like she has a conversation with Lex Luthor. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you want to know what happens here, check back in 2 months and find out.
Was it like the hologram projector thing?
Yeah.
What did he offer her? Did he say?
I don't remember.
Okay. With the event Leviathan at the end of that one, he offered Lois Lane a mystery box, and she's like, "I'm not going to open this." And then she opens it; it's like a bright light, like Pulp Fiction or something. Gotcha. And she's like, "Oh!" And then that's it. You're like, "Okay." And then
basically they have a quick little chat, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
and then it's like
to be all it is. All these tie-ins. It's just
and then they basically said the next 2 issues will have nothing to do with that. It'll be a continuation of what Joelle Jones has been writing, which is more what I care about. I like the villainess that they introduced. She's super creepy, and she's got this like politician son and this little like creepy little like troll son. There's like a little lapdog, and it's like it's just really creepy, the family dynamic and how they affect her. It's kind of cool. Hey girls, come on in. It's almost your turn. And then this was probably the best thing I read this week was the Omega. I just dug the way Daredevil like bookends the whole thing. The
Yeah,
way
that was cool.
he kind of like puts. I just really, really was impressed by it. And of course, anything with Jane Foster front and center, I'm going to grab, and I knew about it. The girls each picked a new comic book for the
All right.
comic book day. So, what did you snag, Charlie? Oh, Kate's going to go first. What did Kate grab? Sorry, let me tilt the camera a little bit. Oop.
Oh, nice
awesome.
pick.
So she got the Stephanie Hans cover. She looked at the Adam Hughes and looked at the Stephanie Hans and went with the Hans cover.
Very cool. Good choice.
What'd you think, Kate?
I thought it was very good. I don't want to spoil anything, but the ending's very fascinating.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
sets up some things you're excited for.
Yeah.
So did you know this is the first time the Invisible Woman has ever had her own comic book?
That's right.
It's never happened in the history of this character. She's never had her own like solo storyline.
Really? That's
Never. I mean, Human Torch has had plenty. I don't know if Mr. Fantastic has, but I know Thing has had a bunch.
Well,
What if Johnny?
a lot of them had team ups. She didn't even have a team up.
Yeah. And this is 5 issues, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Very
think
cool.
it's worth checking out the next issue? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna read
Awesome.
it for sure.
I want to read it. So they read this one. I'm going to read that one next. And then Charlie, what did you get?
I got the first X-Men.
The facsimile edition for
Whoa.
X-Men
Nice.
1. And what did you think of that one, Charlie? You scoot forward. Sorry, I can tilt up a little bit. What did you think?
Well, I liked how when Jean Grey first actually becomes like she meets the X-Men, how they all react.
Yeah.
They're all like falling in love with her, and when they're all, I remember when they're talking about because they all just had their training, and then Professor X is saying, "Right now, I feel someone pulling up in a car going through our gate, the front gate, and it's a beautiful woman."
He's
And so-
using his mental
Yeah,
powers. Uh-huh.
And he tells them, and then everyone's looking at the window to see who it is, and they're saying it's pretty beautiful, and Iceman just turns into ice and says, "You woman, not for me," and he just runs away.
Because he's like a young kid, and he's
Yeah.
like, girls go away.
Yeah, and then they said, "Hey, let's all get nice for her when she comes." So they all dress normal, and they come in, and at one point she's sitting down to talk to
Professor X.
Professor X, and Beast comes up and grabs her face and kisses her on the cheek because he says, "I want to be the first one to welcome you." And she picks him up with her powers and makes him spin around in the air and throws him on the couch.
Nailed it. Awesome.
Yeah.
That was the best recap of X-Men 1, which most of us have read. It's the best recap ever done.
That was awesome.
It was
Yeah.
perfect.
So those are the ones they snagged. Thanks, girls.
Thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate
Thank you guys. Good to
That
see
was
you.
awesome. Great job.
Yeah, so they usually get older books, but they saw those on the shelf and it was like, gotta get them. So then they had to share. Oh yeah, I got a gift box from Take the Time Collectibles. He sent a bunch of the tiny like Archie books for the girls.
Oh,
I had purchased the only Chip Zdarsky issue of Daredevil I was missing, which was issue 2, and he sent that along, and then he threw in Fantastic Four issue 100.
Ooh, nice.
Not saying anything. Look at that Doom cover. He's got Doom on the cover there.
that's a good storyline. That leads to Annihilus.
I was like, what in the heck? He just threw that in without saying a thing.
That's good.
So huge thanks to Take the Time Collectibles. That guy is just crazy nice.
You're gonna enjoy that read. You're gonna enjoy that one.
Yeah. So I have a feeling most of the things I'm going to enjoy this week weren't the 4 books that I picked, but rather the ones my girls got or the girls picked. So
Yeah, that's why I decided to name my pick of the week as a free sketchbook to pick up. You know.
yeah, which is weird though, because like I still think the best book I've read in July is the last issue of Old Man Quill, which is flippin' amazing.
Yeah, dude, that ending was incredible. That's right. We took last week off, dude. We have a lot to talk about. Yeah.
I mean, if you guys haven't read Old Man Quill, I'm begging you to go check it out. Issue 7, they're going through that Old Man Logan universe. They find the Baxter building has been dropped on the Giant Man. It's killed him, right? So they have got this Giant Man skeleton with the Baxter building on top.
Was it a Loki or a Giant Man? I forgot which one
It was Giant Man.
Okay.
And they have to descend down into the bowels of this destroyed Baxter building because they're looking for the nullifier, right? The ultimate nullifier. And the building has been infested by, was it the Moloids or whatever?
Yeah.
And so they're like living in there. They've got to like defend themselves. The way Star-Lord uses a helicopter.
Dude, just chopping.
Freaking awesome.
That was insane.
Dude, it's mind-blowingly awesome. Like it's just so cool. And then of course you mentioned the reveal at the end.
Oh
Like
my
there's some
God.
great little reveals and twists, but like
That makes me
I
want to
ne-
read the
it was
whole thing
like
over
page
again
for
because the
page.
ending.
Yeah,
Dude,
page
the
for
ending,
page,
like
that issue was pushing me further and further, and I loved every second.
John, did you read Old Man Logan single issues, the original single
Yeah.
issues, or did you read it in trade?
Trade, yeah, not the single issues.
So I read them in both, and that's one story that would read read better as a trade. Would this one read better as a trade as well?
I think so. I mean, I would say there's no problem with Old Man Hawkeye or Old Man Quill as a trade. It's a great read.
for sure.
And it you fly through it. I sent the entire Old Man Hawkeye to Chris Barrett to enjoy because he tuned in and answered the trivia question on the Old Man Night.
Awesome.
And I think he enjoyed it too. I think it's just a real fun. I think when I read that Old Man Logan the very first time, that universe and getting to see what Millar had kind of created there, I was like, this is epic. I hope the next guy uses the universe well. And it took until Ethan Sachs for that to actually happen.
Agreed.
And Ethan Sachs is just now he's going to hopefully finish this one strong and have 24 issues that really utilize that universe perfectly.
Yeah, the way Old Man Quill ended, like it makes me. I think I have to read all of the issues again of Old Man Quill from number one.
Absolutely.
With that, the ending in mind. Like it's like, okay, well now you got to think. It's so good. It's so worth checking out. I can't recommend it enough.
So it's worthy of being the book. I mean, it will probably be the book of the month for me. I can't imagine anything being so. I mean, honestly, I would have been the book of the month for the Baxter Building stuff alone. The helicopter and whatever, but you throw in the twist ending and it's like, okay, now.
Speaking of Baxter Building, did you guys see new Spider-Man?
No,
No,
The
you guys
movie?
haven't seen new Spider-Man? Yeah.
no, I haven't seen it. I'm
Far
taking
From
the
Home.
girls this weekend.
Okay.
I'm going soon.
Might go
There's a
tomorrow.
rumor at the after credits. It might be the Baxter Building. Some people say it's not. There's a construction signs, and I tried to catch a little glimpse of what they were talking about, but I couldn't see it. But apparently,
Well,
one.
Well, I do know that Joe and Anthony Russo
Mhm.
announced today that they will be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Ooh.
Originally there, and they said yes. Before you go any further, we will be in Gallery H, which means the headline
Did you see
Wow.
what time they're going on though?
2:30.
They're going on with Netflix
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
because they're doing their Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, they're doing Magic the Gathering. They're taking a Magic the Gathering and making the characters' origin stories on Netflix as a new show. It'll be the biggest.
I think that's part of it, but I'm pretty sure they're doing the Marvel Hour.
You think? I
Because Magic is not owned by Marvel.
okay. I didn't think they were going on there with Marvel because I think Disney wanted to do. Isn't Disney? What is that thing that they do?
Disney
It's like
Plus.
D23.
Yeah,
I think that's this year too, and I think
I think it's every year, isn't it?
it's every other year.
Every other, okay.
Every other.
So I think they want to. Disney tries to hold a lot of that news. I mean, right now, we were talking about this last week a little bit. Between July 1st through next week, there's really no comic book news or comic because everything is being held tight to the vest because of San Diego. I mean, they released. Marvel did say that they're doing that. It's not zombies. I think it's called.
It's zombies.
The
Undead. Yeah, they're doing another Marvel Zombies. That's the next event they're gonna do.
But what are they calling it? Contagion or something like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Contagion where it's a disease versus I'll bite you, you become a zombie thing.
I've been looking at some of those covers and my God, they're hot. Like they got this.
Yeah, I mean they've got Delato, they've got they did a troop of people to do this stuff, but it's been in the works for a while apparently. And there's even some writers that are coming back to do some stuff and this is their Marvel 1000 is approaching rapidly, and they know Action 1000, Detective 1000 all did really well. Spider-Man did an 800, and it did great. They imagine a Marvel 1000, and unfortunately, they're tying it in with something that they think is going to work. Now, Marvel Zombies is a lot better than Deceased, but everybody in comics has got such a shitty taste because Deceased is so bad.
It's so good. I love it.
We want to go through this stuff again.
I love Deceased. I think Deceased already has a better storyline than Marvel Zombies, which is so just off and on. It's just really hard to keep track of. And the writing in Marvel Zombies was really bad too for the most part of it.
It wasn't. Some of it was good because you went from the problem was you had Secret Invasion. Everybody really wanted Secret Invasion just to get started, and that's why Marvel Zombies was like, just hurry up and end this stupid. Get to Secret Invasion, we could have a good time.
I was reading through Wikipedia before Marvel Zombies a couple years ago, but there was a point where I think it was Ash from Evil Dead crosses over with Howard the Duck, and there's a part where Howard the Duck wipes his butt with the Necronomicon or something like that. That somehow starts the whole entire Marvel Zombies from before 0.0. I forgot something like that.
What they did something. I mean, when they did
the 216 minus zombies thing.
When they did zombies in Ultimate Fantastic Four and it crossed over with the normal 616, that was pretty awesome.
That was the first Marvel Zombies ever, though.
Yeah.
That's 422 and 423 on your Fantastic Four dials.
So the Russo panel for the Russo brothers, Avengers Endgame was accumulated an unprecedented 4-film, 7-year journey through Marvel's cinematic universe. Come join the reunion of Joe and Anthony Russo and some of other guests to reflect on their epic Endgame road as they siege into a new life beyond Marvel and their new company, AGBO.
Yeah, AGBO is the one that they want to get one of the rights to one of the characters. I know that.
And it sounds like
Moon Knight. They've been wanting Moon Knight since day one. So,
but this is 100% sponsored by Marvel and Disney.
Yeah, well, they want to. They're gonna take care of them. They're gonna announce them doing something big.
Yeah, that's gonna be man. Could you imagine them doing Moon Knight and Moon Knight doing better than any Batman film?
Or no, awesome. I think it would be better if they announced that the Fantastic Four is going to be this, and those two gentlemen right there. Will you take the job?
Oh my God!
As much shit I talk on Tom King, I would really love to see Tom King write Moon Knight. I think he would do well with a 12 maxi series on that.
It does fit his style, right?
Yeah,
he does well with.
I like noir stuff. I get it. I get the noir stuff, and that's what Moon Knight is.
I mean, he does well with damaged characters.
Yeah, Lemire did an amazing job with Moon Knight. That's one of my favorite runs of all time. I had to buy the hardcover.
Moon Knight is if you think about all the Moon Knight crappy runs, and no offense to the guys.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
there are so many bad Moon Knight runs.
Yep.
Lemire's changed the game, and when you added Finch, it went way better.
Yeah, it was incredible. It's one of my best favorite books of all time. Is that Lemire Moon Knight run? I cherish my hardcover of it.
The Tom King good Moon Knight favorite run
was that the Marvel Knights?
No, the Marvel Knights one that was Finch with I think Jerry Dugan did a bunch of those.
Yeah, but Finch's art on that was sick.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it still is. It's still his best. It's his Sistine Chapel.
I mean, just.
John, what was one of the topics you wanted to jump on?
Well, I'm going to run out of time, but I just wanted to mention somebody in the community. I'm going to shout out a few people in the chat before we do our final segment of the evening here, or at least one of the final segments for me that I'll be around for. There's some great comedy going on in the chat. Chris Barrett, always really, really funny. Much appreciated, brother. Seawood has been in there holding down some court. Much appreciated for coming by, Mr. Newsstand himself. GPAP's, always throwing out some great knowledge in there. I wanted to mention somebody named Burke Family 54 Comics. You guys might have seen him before. Stay Nasty. Burke Nasty is what he used to be known as. And he just started his first real big subscriber contest. And it's totally original, totally different, and sounds like something really, really fun and funny for the community. And I wanted to explain it a little bit. And then if you go find his channel and you go check out what he's doing, you'll find
we're going to bring Burke on coming up on this. So
yeah.
Nice.
we'll be bringing him on this because it's a great contest.
It's cool.
I
But I have a
Burke.
feeling by then,
I met Burke at Planet Comic Con, and he's such a great dude.
and when we bring him on, more than likely he'll be promoting the event itself. But what's happening right now is he's looking for his 16 contestants for a sort of NCAA March Madness tournament of YouTube channel of people competing. And so he's already got, I think, 9 people. He's looking for 6 or 7 more people to round out his Sweet 16. And you go to his channel where he posted his video, and you just say, "I want in," and you pick a number 1 through 16. And all you do is eventually you send him, 4 pictures of 4 of your best comics, and he puts you into a competition, and you'll compete against somebody else. Your number 1 versus their number 1, your number 2 versus their number 2, and work you through a sort of tournament of champions. You don't lose any of these books. You don't have to donate any of these books. It's merely just, I have this book, and this is the one I want to compete. And then somebody else holds up their book. And the idea is this tournament is wheedled down to just 2 people and then 1 champion. And he has 2 prize packages that he's going to give away to the first and second place champions, but they don't get the prizes. And that's the best part about this whole thing. He wants these 16 channels to be people who don't need these prize packages because they've got all these great grails. Instead, these 16 people are going to be playing for 16 other members in the community. So if I chose Sam's Tangled Web and I won, Sam would get the winnings for prize package number 1.
Nice. That's
Sam
awesome.
would be the person who gets it, right?
Nice.
So if I picked
I am
Chris
entering, and I'm not announcing who my
if I win and I had Chris Barrett as my person that I was playing for, then Chris would win the prize package for first place or whatever that I come in as. I don't need to get rid of any of my 4 big books. He's not asking for that. But at the same time, he also says whether you win or lose, whoever you play for, send them something.
Yep.
Anything from your collection that you want, as like a way of saying, hey, I picked you, Sam. You're a good friend. You're an awesome guy. Whether we win or lose together, I'm sending you a comic. It doesn't have to be a huge grail or anything. It's a really fun idea, unlike any giveaway I've seen. So in the end, he's giving away 2 of his own prize packages, but these 16 players, whoever these contestants will be, we all will give away a book to somebody else in the community. It's an awesome mutual giveaway.
From Burke Family, Rag718 was asking whose contest is this? It's Burke Family. So
Yeah.
please check out their channel and watch the video.
You search Burke Family 54 Comics. You'll find him. He's on Instagram. Used to be going by Burke Nasty.
Big fan of Kansas State Wildcats.
Yes, definitely. And so it's an unusual challenge, and I know that it's been something that people are like, wait, do I give away my grails? Is what's going on with this thing? It's just a silly, fun competition. If you like March Madness, you know exactly what this is going to look like. And we'll have him on right before he does the live stream where he holds up book A versus book B, and then we get to vote in the chat which one we think wins, and we get to watch the tournament sort of play out.
We're all going to make some side bets.
Absolutely. I mean, this sounds so much fun to me. Like I'm just super pumped to be one of the 16. I'm
Awesome.
I'm number 9. So I love potion number 9 is what you call me. I'm in.
Oh man.
It's going down. I've already picked 2 of my 4 books, so I'm ready. This is going to be a lot of fun. And I think I know who I'm going to play for, but at the same time, you obviously don't want to play for somebody who decides to compete. You want to make sure that, like, oh, if I'm playing for JD, I want to make sure JD's not in the competition as well.
Nice.
So I just wanted to shout him out. He's not only like a really awesome, fun guy who's on with Chino Comics and more a lot, and he's on with Comic Head and stuff, but he's got a really unusual competition. So I just wanted to say a little something for that. Oh, Chris Barrett says he's in, so I can't play for Chris now. So that brings us to our next segment, I should say. The show might go on after I leave, but I wanted to do something a little different tonight. And thankfully, JD and Jason were kind of up for this idea of shouting out an older book, something that's in trade or that's online. You can read the whole thing that maybe we would like to recommend for people to enjoy. So I went with an indie book. I'll just quickly run through mine, but then I'll give you guys chances to kind of talk about your books and what it is you're interested in. Am I still here? Can you see me all right?
Yep. You're good.
So I went with 3 trades, and I think it's underrepresented in our community. This Vertigo title, Fables, I think Bill Willingham did an amazing job with this storyline. And I'm talking about all three of the first ones. You got Legends in Exile is book 1. You've got Animal Farm is book 2. And then Storybook Love is probably my favorite of the entire run. A lot of times Fables gets labeled as like a girly comic. You know, it's about, you know, fairy tales and stuff, but it's actually really raw, perfectly HBO. You get sex, violence, language, all those things. It's highly entertaining, and I can't recommend it enough. You will love it. You just give it a shot. If you go to your comic, like my LCS has 50% off trades, and you go in certain parts of the shop and you'll find those cheaper trades. If you can find these for 50% off, half price books, definitely snag them because you'll really enjoy it. So that would be one that I would totally recommend.
Mine are I sold mine, or I donated some of mine to some other people in the community. Some of you guys have them. My first one, East of West.
I heard great things.
Definitely get East of West. I'm going to give 4 indies: East of West, Scalped, Thief of Thieves, which is still going on, which is the best Robert Kirkman work. It is better than The Walking Dead, I swear to you, especially if you're older than 15. You know, The Walking Dead really wasn't that good in the beginning. You know, it had a run where it was really good and then really bad. So, but my one I want to share with everybody in particular is Secret Avengers, volumes 1 through 5. Because you can get this anywhere. You can probably get this for $5 to $10 anywhere. It's Ed Brubaker, Mike Beato Jr.'s artwork. It's Marco Jerkovich artwork as well. But the books itself, I own them all, but I wanted to get the trade because I really, really, really like the storyline in here. It's real simple. It's Ed Brubaker, and he's telling a story about the new Captain America, which is Steve Rogers, with all blonde, the super soldier. Remember that story? Is with Valkyrie, Black Widow, Beast, War Machine, and Moon Knight. And this is a great storyline, and they go everywhere from Texas in 1865 to the future to space to today, and they go back and forth. There's old school Nick Fury in here, but you've got Nova, and the best of the back is somebody has to put on the Nova helmet. So not only does he wield Mjolnir in Endgame, put on the core helmet right there.
That's awesome.
It's just a good one. I recommend people pick it up. Ed Brubaker, Secret Avengers. I think they call this one Mission to Mars. It's okay. It's a cute little thing they do there, but it's volumes 1 through 5. They do all of them. If you want to know, Ed Brubaker's Cap Run is great, but it's much bigger than a simple $5 book or something. I recommend you get. But there you go. Good storyline, and it reads very well together as a whole.
If anybody's looking for a Burke family, he did just jump in the chat, and you can click on his name to find his channel even easier if you'd like to. He's there right now. I'm gonna jump out, guys. I'm very sorry to do that. Yep. I'm gonna set up my other stream. Chad, thank you so much for coming by. And guys, don't forget, make videos for the Comic Core contest.
That's
you
right.
could go to Baltimore, hang with the Comic Core at the Baltimore Comic Con. So those videos need to be in by the 21st, I believe.
Yep.
So get those up. There are videos all over the place. Some hysterical and very entertaining videos are out there. So definitely make those videos. And Chad, thanks for coming by, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Bye. All right. Thanks, John. Okay. So anybody else want to talk about some trades?
Yeah. I'll recommend. Yeah. Do you want to go first, Chad, or do you want me to go first?
I grabbed 2 real quick. That this one here, this is my childhood. This is the Masters of the Universe.
Man.
It is the complete, all of the little books that came with the toys, but you'd be surprised who does the art and writes the stories in this. So just some of the names: Bruce Timm.
No.
Robert Kirkman, Gary Cohen, Tim Seeley. They do all the when you're going through it and you're looking at the art, you'll go back and you'll realize that they did it. And then this one here, Oversized X-Men, came out I think today, right? And this is going to be Ecstatic. This is a new book that's going to be coming out again. with the original team. This book is so underrated. Just amazing book, and it introduces Dupe.
Nice. Yeah, I think number 1 came out today. I didn't get to read it. The new one.
Yep, and it brings Milligan and Allred back together. So those are 2 underrated books.
All right, Jason, you're up.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, mine I don't have on me either because I let some friends borrow them. One is my favorite book on the shelf right now is Gideon Falls. The first, I believe, the first 2 trades are out. That's awesome. It's amazing. By Jeff Lemire, art by Sorrentino. It's a whole entire mind-bender thing. And then my favorite series of all time is Hickman's Black Monday Murders. And there's only two volumes of that as well. And he's going to finish up that story supposedly this year. So I'm very excited. So I say read that now before that comes out. Maybe you can find the single editions before everyone wants to buy it. So dude, yeah.
A lot of people are.
Black Monday Murders has to deal with more like money and cults and stock markets. So I think it could be boring for a lot of people, but it has an interesting take on cults and how the stock market has to deal with like blood and sacrifices. Very interesting stuff. And then also John and I, we're going to be doing a Criminal coming up. So I have this Ed Brubaker hardcover of Volume 1, which is very hard to find. I think I show this off every week.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones you have.
Yeah,
it's one of those where I'm always on the hunt for one. So.
Dude, I'm so excited to finally get this, have this. So
Criminal,
I'm very excited to read it.
All the Criminal stories, I've read them, and I will tell people, Ed Brubaker isn't your average writer. I mean,
right.
he isn't he's different. I know he's probably really tough to work with.
Right. I told Caleb to check out Kill or Be Killed, and he's finally reading that now, and it's just so amazing. So good. So, yeah, that's all I got to talk about for those reads. Yeah,
people in the chat have their want to throw a few out there. Daredevil Born Again and Kingdom Come by C. Woodard. Great.
Yes.
Which I completely agree with those. I think I'm going to throw out Alan Moore's Swamp Thing just because I hope you've all read it by now. I hope everybody does. Peter David's 2000s X Factor, excellent read, very good call as well. Ecstatic Books, X-Force X out there. Hickman's Pax Romana was very good. Yes. Hickman's Pax Romana it's short read, easy read, not like a really in-depth Hickman where you got to go bouncing back and forth. Good one, very good, very good. You know, Fade Out. Yep.
Somebody put Calvin and Hobbes. There's a book by Action Labs, and I can't remember what the title is, and I have the trade somewhere, and it's Calvin and Hobbes, but they're older and they're detectives.
Oh, cool.
And one's an alcoholic, and one's just like. It's very dark, noir-like.
Dude, from Action Labs recently, I read Banjax 1 and 2. There's only 2 issues out right now, but that was so good. Like last week, that was my favorite
of Aberrant. Obviously, you see me talk about Aberrant a lot. Like a lot of the indie ones I have, I just wait for them to come out. Aberrant, Relay, a lot of them are Action Lab. Or actually, they're all Action Lab.
Spencer and Locke, Drew Manchu and Jack Yo, got it.
Southern Bastard, very good. Jason Aaronwork is going back to that. We'll start writing that again in October during football season, he says. Spencer and Locke, great call. The Death of the Stacys, good call, Chris Barrett right there. I mean, this is one of my favorite things about the show is you're giving me things that I'm going to be going back and rereading and writing down because that's where I'm at the stage where I want to look at a few more stuff for us to read. We're at 10 o'clock hour.
Sorry.
No worries. We're at the 10 o'clock hour. Before we close out things, anybody else want to shout out? I want Chad to talk about the contest.
Yeah, let's hear the contest.
Yeah, Chad, talk about the contest.
I'm trying to think of some ideas on the contest to like how we should review them, and I'm thinking like. Start on Wednesday. We could review some of the videos that the week of, you know what I mean, and then have on Friday have the decision, because we can get more than 5-10 people in here. thinking the 21st is a Sunday. Wednesday we could like do the final top 5, and then on Friday the 26th we can announce the winner. I was gonna ask if you guys care about that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think that's in this way. I know there's some people are waiting to make some videos. I watched Chuckload of Comics the other day, and they're actually doing an entry video. And I'm like, Chuck, you already did one. You did our promo for us. And yeah. So just make sure you're subscribed to us. Do a video telling us what brought you to the Comic Core, what you like about the Comic Core, hell, what you don't like about the Comic Core, whatever you want to say. And then tell us why you think you should go to Baltimore with us. And trust me, it will be fun.
Yes, definitely.
And are you? I wanted to ask you this: are you riding with us?
Yeah, dude, I'll ride with you.
So if you're anywhere in between Indianapolis and Baltimore, Mark BKR is renting a 15-passenger van, and he's just picking people up on the way.
The core bus is all the way hitchhiking.
So as of right now, I think it's Cat Wren and Mark and C. Woodard.
Yeah, count me in. I'm in. I'm riding with you, bro. I'm with you.
It's gonna be fun. I mean, honestly, it brings everybody together. There's some really cool things that are happening down there. I just can't wait to see JD in person again.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I made a video recently also for the first time in like 3 months and talked about a little about the contest. Yeah, I mentioned the contest for sure and what people should do. So yeah, and then I guess also next show is Sunday at 2 p.m. on SNB Network with the group called Comic Cast. We kind of do the same thing, what we do here as well. And then Monday for Story Comic Core, I believe, might be our first time with the whole crew. I think Alec might be back and with our new revamped edition of Story Comic Core.
It's going to be awesome.
We're going to read. I'm not sure what book we're reading yet, but after we finish reading the first couple issues or a volume of something, we're going to have our own take, our own fan fiction take of where each of us would take the story. So, and then we're going to have more talk with the chat, have them be more involved. So it should be a good time. So check this out on Monday as well here at Comic Core, and then on Wednesday in Comic Core is what we do every week. So yeah, dude, stoked to see everyone here again.
Hey,
JD, what you got?
Real quick on in the chat, Comic Man Andy said, talk about the B&Bs, the Airbnbs. Yeah, we were looking at a couple that are pretty sweet. They're actually nicer than the one that we stayed at in Chicago.
Less haunted.
Yeah, less haunted. And then we were actually debating on this. We were going to get one house, and then there was this other house that had nothing but, and it slept 16, had one bed, and 5 stripper poles. And no regular lighting, all neon lights.
Wow. That's incredible.
So we think we were going to put the winners up in that.
Congratulations,
cool.
winners. That's where you will be staying. And I there as well.
That's a party.
So once again, everybody, we want to thank everybody for joining us here on Wednesday Night Comic Core Unlimited. Get ready for the new Comic Book Day show over on John Comics with Kids channel, and we're going to have a great time. I want to thank everybody in the chat once again. It's been really cool. I always love doing this show and everything else. Don't forget, we've got Swamp Thing. You've got Core Off the Rails on Friday, and you've got The Hunt this week. And woo, my man, I'm bringing it back. I went back to it. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.